He was charming. He was handsome. He smiled at the world, and the world smiled back. But behind that charming face was a darkness so deep, so calculated, that it would terrify an entire nation. This is the story of Ted Bundy, a man whose intelligence, charisma, and evil made him one of America's most notorious serial killers. Ted Bundy was born Theodore Robert Cowell on November 24, 1946, in Burlington, Vermont. His early life was complicated and secretive. His mother, Louise Cowell, was unmarried at the time, and Ted was raised believing grandparents were his parents. From a young age, he experienced instability and secrecy, traits that may have shaped his later behavior. He moved frequently with his family, eventually settling in Tacoma, Washington. Ted was reportedly a shy, introverted boy in school, but behind closed doors, he developed an early fascination with power, control, and manipulation. Friends remembered him as intelligent, well-spoken, and polite. No one suspected that this quiet teenager would grow into a cold-blooded killer. Bundy attended University of Puget Sound, later transferring to the University of Washington, where he majored in psychology. He was known as polite, helpful, and charming, qualities that masked darker tendencies. He began experimenting with peeping and voyeurism, often breaking into women's homes. By now, Bundy had discovered a chilling truth. He could manipulate people into trusting him, and then take advantage of them without immediate consequence. These were early warning signs. Family, friends, and even his college roommates never realized how dangerous he truly was. Ted Bundy's confirmed murders began in the early 1970s in Washington state. His method was disturbingly consistent. Approach young women, often students, strikingly similar in appearance. Feign injury or authority, cast on his arm, crutches, or posing as a police officer. Lure them into his car or private space. Attack and abduct. His victims were often blonde, petite, and young, a pattern that would make profiling him easier later, but too late for his victims. The first murders were often unreported or classified as missing persons, allowing Bundy to increase his confidence and brutality over time. Bundy didn't stay in one place. He traveled between Washington, Oregon, Utah, and Colorado, committing murders in multiple states. This made it nearly impossible for local police to connect the cases. He also developed a signature pattern: abduction in daylight or near public spaces. Minimal evidence left behind. Bodies disposed in secluded areas. Often revisiting crime scenes. This mobility, combined with his charm, earned him an almost mythical reputation among law enforcement, a ghost no one could catch. One of the most terrifying aspects of Ted Bundy was his ability to appear normal, even lovable. He volunteered for political campaigns. He was intelligent, articulate, and seemingly kind. Neighbors and colleagues described him as friendly and respectable. He used these traits to lure women. He even admitted that he enjoyed the thrill of seeing them trust him, then turning that trust into terror. This was psychological manipulation at its darkest. Bundy wasn't just killing. He was playing with fear, control, and perception. By the mid-1970s, Bundy's murders escalated both in frequency and brutality. In Utah and Colorado, he continued his pattern of abduction and killing. By 1975, he was under some police suspicion but managed to evade capture. In Florida, his crimes became even more horrifying. He attacked women at Florida State University and University of Florida. The Chi Omega sorority house attack in 1978 is one of his most infamous. He bludgeoned multiple women, killing 2 instantly. 2 survived, giving law enforcement critical eyewitness testimony. This attack brought national attention, finally linking him to a series of murders across multiple states. Ted Bundy was first arrested in 1975 in Utah, but his intelligence and charm allowed him to manipulate the legal system. He initially faced suspicion for theft and kidnapping. Evidence began linking him to murder, and he was charged. But Bundy was a master of deception. He escaped from custody twice. Once, he broke out a law library window. During one escape, he fled to Colorado, committing more murders. His escapes only increased his legend, and media dubbed him the Charming Killer. Bundy's capture in 1978 came after several months of nationwide manhunt. Investigators finally connected. Physical evidence, hair, fibers, blood. Eyewitness testimony from surviving victims. Bundy's pattern of abductions across states. This marked one of the earliest examples of interstate task forces working together in the U.S. to catch a serial killer. Bundy's trials were unlike anything seen before. 1979, Colorado, convicted for first-degree murder. 1979 to 1980, Florida, charged with Chi Omega murders. The Florida trial was heavily publicized. Bundy acted as his own lawyer, cross-examining witnesses. He appeared confident, calm, and charming. Surviving victims testified, creating tense courtroom drama. Bundy's courtroom antics fascinated and horrified the public simultaneously. The man who had committed such evil appeared articulate, almost respectable, a terrifying juxtaposition. While on death row, Bundy began confessing to additional murders. Estimated 30-plus confirmed victims. Some of his confessions included previously unsolved disappearances. He revealed details only the killer could know. These confessions painted a chilling portrait of a meticulous, intelligent, and remorseless killer. Bundy confessed in exchange for delaying his execution, a negotiation for time, not mercy. Bundy was not just physically violent, he was psychologically complex. He targeted women who resembled past crushes or fantasies. He derived power from manipulation and control. He lacked empathy, remorse, or moral restraint. Experts have studied Bundy extensively, labeling him psychopathic, narcissistic, and sociopathic, a textbook case for criminal psychology. After years on death row, Ted Bundy was executed in the electric chair on January 24, 1989 in Florida. His execution was watched by media and reported worldwide. He remained calm, manipulative, and cold until the end. Even in death, Bundy's story served as a warning and a fascination for psychologists, criminologists, and the public. Ted Bundy's story is more than a tale of murder. Warning: evil can hide behind charm, education, and a friendly face. Psychology: understanding behavior can prevent manipulation and danger. True crime culture: Bundy set a precedent for profiling, nationwide law enforcement cooperation, and forensic analysis. His victims' stories, often overshadowed, remind us that real horror is human cruelty, calculated, cold, and deliberate. Ted Bundy's face was the mask of normalcy. His words were smooth. His smile was inviting. And behind it all, he killed without remorse, leaving dozens of families shattered. The story of Ted Bundy is not just about the killings. It is about trust betrayed, evil disguised, and the darkness that can hide behind the most ordinary faces. Remember the victims. Remember the warning. And never forget, charm can be deadly.